Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to Finance 360-degree session. So in today's session, we are going to discuss 4 very important finance current affairs, and these are also mentioned in the RBI website. These are also present in the RBI website in the RBI press releases. So they are very important from your examination point of view, and I will tell you that what are the important data points that you have to remember from these news articles, from these press releases of the Reserve Bank of India. The first one is regarding the AU Small Finance Bank that has got the permission to work as the universal bank. So what is the voluntary transition criteria to convert from the small finance bank to the universal bank? The important data you have to remember. The next one is the standardized forms for claim settlement. So RBI has said that we will have a standardized claim for the we will have the standardized form for claim settlement for the deceased customers. So we will discuss that what is this. The next one is regarding the RBI has simplified the process for opening special Rupee Waso account. So what is Waso account, as well as what is the simplification that has been done. And the last one is regarding the RBI's auto bidding for treasury bills. So how this auto bidding process will work. So all of these news articles we are going to discuss in today's session, and the important points I will tell you that you have to remember from these news articles. Okay, so let's get started without any delay. But first of all, do subscribe to the YouTube channel of EduTap so that you continue getting these relevant videos, and do join our Telegram channel where you will get the PDF of the session, and the link for the Telegram channel is provided in the description box below. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if everything is fine, if I am clearly audible and visible. Good morning everyone, good morning and welcome to the session. So now starting with the first news article, that is the introduction of auto bidding facilities. So basically in the statement on development and regulatory policies document that was released with the Monetary Policy Committee statement. So this document was released with the Monetary Policy Committee statement, and in this document there were 2 decisions that were notified. The first decision was regarding the auto bidding facilities. Okay, so it has been said that, see, the retail direct portal was launched in November 2021. So retail direct scheme, this is the scheme through which the retail investors, they can invest easily in the government securities through the gilt accounts that the retail investors can have with the Reserve Bank of India. So retail direct scheme was launched in November 2021 so that the retail investors can invest in the government securities through the primary market, and they can also sell or buy the government securities in the secondary market through the gilt accounts with the Reserve Bank of India. So before, the retail investors, they had to take the help of the intermediaries. Then they were able to access the government securities, and that was a very complicated process. But now the RBI said that through the retail direct portal, the retail investors can get access to the government securities in an easier manner. Okay, so to facilitate the retail investors to open their gilt accounts with the Reserve Bank under the retail direct scheme, so that the retail investors can trade in the government securities, this was launched. Okay, so retail direct scheme, I hope you all know about the retail direct scheme. I have taken a complete session on this topic also. Okay, so now the retail direct portal was launched in November 2021 to facilitate the retail investors to open their gilt accounts with the Reserve Bank of India under the retail direct scheme, and the scheme allows the retail investors to buy the government securities, to purchase the government securities in the primary auctions, as well as buy and sell the government securities in the secondary market. Okay, since the launch of the scheme, various new features have been introduced so that it becomes easier and easier for the retail investors to invest in the government securities. And last year in May 2024, the mobile application for the retail direct scheme, the mobile application has also been launched. Okay, so before there was only the retail direct portal. Through the portal, the retail investors can get access to the government securities. Now there is also the mobile application through which the retail investors can get access to the government securities. Now it has been said that for further easier access of the people, like retail investors to have in the government securities, for further easier access of the retail investors in the government securities, now auto bidding facility is also being introduced. So to enable the investors to systematically plan their investments, like you know, in the mutual funds there is a systematic investment plan. Okay, there are the SIPs that you can do, that okay, monthly you want to invest this much, and on the monthly basis you are releasing the money for the mutual funds, and this happens on the automatic basis. Once you have to you have to do the mandate, and once the mandate has been given, automatically from your account the money is deducted for the SIP, so that you can invest in the mutual funds in the regular manner. So weekly or daily the money can be deducted, or monthly the money can be deducted in the form of systematic investment plan that can be invested in the mutual funds in the automatic manner. You just have to give the permission once, and then every month or whatever timeline you have decided, on that basis the money is deducted from your account to invest in mutual funds. Similar process is being introduced in the retail direct scheme, so that on the automatic basis you can invest in the government securities, especially the T-bills, because it has been identified by the RBI that the retail investors, they are mostly investing in the treasury bills. Okay, that is the short-term instrument. So now it has been said that to enable the investors to systematically plan their investment, an auto bidding facility for treasury bills covering both the investment and reinvestment options has been enabled in the retail direct portal, or in the retail, under the retail direct scheme. So if you want to invest in the treasury bills, or let's say you want to reinvest. So basically, if you want to invest in the T-bills or you want to reinvest means, let's say you had invested the money previously. You had invested, let's say 50,000 rupees previously in the T-bills. Now this T-bills was for 91 days. Now these T-bills have matured, and the money has, like, the money you can withdraw. Okay, so now these T-bills, they are maturing. Now you want this money to be reinvested. So that can also happen on the automatic basis. So if you want to do the investment for the first time, or if you want to do the new investment, that is also possible through the automatic bidding process for the T-bills, as well as if you want to reinvest your previously invested money, that is also possible for the T-bills through the automatic process. We will discuss about this automatic process, but this is only allowed, the automatic bidding is only allowed for the T-bills for now. Okay, that is the idea. So basically, the investors, they can systematically plan their investment, and auto bidding facility has been provided for the treasury bills, covering the investment and reinvestment in the treasury bills. The new functionality helps investors to mandate automatic placement of bids in primary auction of T-bills. So this is the basic idea, that in the primary auction of T-bills, when the primary auctions are happening, if you want to do the investment, you can have the automatic bidding facility. So what is this facility? So this facility allows investors to set investment preferences, that you want to have the T-bill for 91 days or for 182 days or for 364 days or what. Okay, so let's say I want to have the T-bills for 91 days. So the bidding will happen for the 91 days T-bills only, not for the 182 days, not for the 364 days and such. Now I have decided the bid amount, that I want to bid 20,000. Okay, bidding frequency, I want to bid once every month. Okay, so bidding frequency I have decided once every month. And whether you want to reinvest the maturity proceeds, so I don't want to reinvest the maturity proceeds, I have decided. Someone can decide that, okay, they want to reinvest the maturity proceeds also. So then the investment will happen, and that invested money, when the timeline matures, then again this money will be reinvested. Okay, so you can also decide to reinvest. So these are the rules that you have decided. These are the rules. Okay, 91 days, the money that is 20,000 once every month, and you do not want to reinvest, or you want to reinvest. So these are the rules that you have decided for the auto bidding. You have to decide the rules for the auto bidding only once. Once you have decided the rules for the auto bidding, then by creating this auto bid rules that are executed automatically, the execution will happen automatically. Automatically the bidding will be placed on your behalf, like the SIPs. Similarly, like the SIPs happen, that you have decided the rule that once every week on, let's say, Wednesday, you want to invest 1,000 rupees in a particular mutual fund. So you have decided the rule. Once you have decided the rule, automatically the SIPs happen, automatically the investment happens, your money is deducted from your bank account, and that is invested in the mutual fund. Similarly, here you have decided the rules. Once you have decided the rules, the auto bid rules have been decided, so they are executed automatically once the bidding window of the respective T-bill auction becomes active. Okay, so if you want 91 days T-bill, so once the 91-day T-bill is released, as soon as that is released, so the auto bidding will happen on your behalf, okay, on the RD, that is retail direct portal, or through the mobile application. These rules can be amended, they can be changed. Let's say now you do not want to invest in 91 days, you want to reinvest the money in 182-day T-bill. So you can change, you can amend, you can pause, or you can cancel any time the auto bidding process. This is the whole idea. Any confusion here, anyone? So this is the idea. Here you can see that auto bidding facility for reinvestment in T-bills have been enabled, okay. So this has been enabled. So basically, if you see the Reserve Bank of India Retail Direct, so auto bidding facility for reinvestment, this has also been provided. So auto bidding facility for reinvestment in T-bills has been enabled in the Retail Direct portal as well as the mobile application for the scheme, okay. This facility will help in reinvestment of maturity proceeds. As soon as your investment matures, the maturity amount can also be reinvested. That's why the reinvestment is also possible of the T-bills through automatic placement of bids in primary auction of T-bills as per the rules that you have decided for the auto investment. The auto investment can happen, okay. The bids will be placed in auction lot sizes, that is minimum of rupees 10,000 and in multiples of rupees 10,000 thereafter as per the amount of your maturity proceed. So this is the whole idea. I hope this is very much clear. Now coming to the next news article, that is the RBI has granted the in principle approval to the AU Small Finance Bank Limited for transition into the universal bank. Any confusion in the previous news article? Only Padmini is saying that no confusion. What about the others? All clear? Moving forward to this news article, so the Reserve Bank of India has decided to grant the in principle approval, that is for the time being the approval has been provided. The RBI will see that AU Small Finance Bank is able to work properly as a universal bank or not. So right now there is only in principle approval, not the complete approval, only the in principle approval has been provided by the RBI to the AU Small Finance Bank to transition from the Small Finance Bank to the universal bank. Small Finance Bank, now Small Finance Bank, they can only provide the small finance, they can only provide the small loans, okay, but the universal banks, they can provide multiple services. They can provide the corporate banking, or they can provide the let's say EduTap has 50 employees. Now for the 50 employees, the accounts have to be opened in a particular bank, let's say Yes Bank. So that is corporate banking. That Yes Bank is a universal bank that is able to provide the corporate banking, that is able to open 50 accounts of the employees of EduTap, okay. So that is wholesale banking also, we can say. So this is the wholesale banking. Or the Yes Bank is also providing the retail banking and is taking the deposits from the high net worth individuals, from the retailers, from the individuals and such. And the Yes Bank is also providing the loans to the big institutions, to the small institutions, to the farmers and such. So this is the idea that the universal bank can provide various services, okay, while the Small Finance Bank is limited to providing the small finance or the small loans, okay. So now the AU Small Finance Bank can transition to the universal bank. With the objective of bringing better clarity, the eligibility criteria was notified for the Small Finance Bank to transition into the universal bank. These were detailed in the circular issued on April 26, 2024, and it was notified that these are the criterias through which, these are the provisions that you have to follow for transitioning from Small Finance Bank to universal bank. That a small finance bank, if it wants to transition to universal bank, then the Small Finance Bank must have a scheduled status. That means it should be a scheduled bank. It should be in the second schedule of the RBI Act of 1934, okay. So it should have the scheduled status with a satisfactory track record of performance for a minimum period of 5 years. That means it must have worked for 5 years. Shares of the bank should have been listed on a recognized stock exchange and having a minimum. So the Small Finance Bank should have a minimum net worth of 1000 crores if it wants to transition to the universal bank, okay. Meeting the prescribed CRAR. So if it wants to transition into the universal bank, it should meet the capital to risk weighted asset ratio. That means it should have adequate capital. Having a net profit in the last 2 financial years. So in the last 2 financial years, it should have a net profit. Having the gross non-performing asset less than or equal to 3% and the net non-performing asset less than or equal to 1% respectively in the last 2 financial years. So that means AU Small Finance Bank must be meeting all these criteria if it wants to transition into the universal bank. So AU Small Finance Bank has met all these criteria. That's why RBI has provided the in principle approval, right? As well as there are certain other criteria also. These are the additional criteria that has to be followed for the shareholding pattern. So there is no mandatory requirement for an eligible small finance bank to have identified promoter, to have specific promoters. Okay. However, the existing promoters of the eligible small finance bank, if any, they shall continue as the promoters on the transition to the universal bank. That means if you are the promoters of the small finance bank, as soon as the small finance bank converts into universal bank, it's not like that you will sell your shares. No, you will have to continue as the promoter. So the promoters of the small finance bank, if any, they have to continue as the promoters in the universal bank also after the transition. Addition of new promoters or change in promoters shall not be permitted for an eligible SFB while transitioning to the universal bank. Okay. There shall be no new mandatory lock-in requirement of minimum shareholding for existing promoters in the transition universal bank. Usually the promoters, they have to dilute their shareholding. That means let's say promoter has 100% of the shares in the small finance bank. So they have to reduce their shareholding so that they do not have much power later on. Okay. So they have to dilute their shareholding. They have to reduce their shareholding from let's say 100% to 80% to 60%, then to 40%. Okay. So basically they have to dilute their shareholding. Now here it has been said that there will be no mandatory lock-in period requirement for the minimum shareholding. Now when the promoters are diluting their shareholding, it is said that they have to maintain a minimum shareholding. They have to maintain a minimum shareholding. So promoter, let's say they had 100% of the shareholding of the small finance bank. So it was said that they have to dilute their shareholding, they have to reduce their shareholding, but they have to maintain some minimum shareholding also. Okay. So this minimum shareholding has to be maintained. Now it has been said that there is no new mandatory lock-in requirement for the minimum shareholding for the existing promoters, and whatever dilution plan that they have provided for their shareholding, that will also not change. So there will be no change for the promoters. The promoters should remain same. Their lock-in period, their dilution plan should remain same even when they are transitioning from small finance bank to the universal bank. The eligible small finance bank having diversified loan portfolio will be preferred. Okay. So eligible small finance bank that have diversified loan portfolio, that have provided the loan to various categories, they will be preferred for transitioning to the universal bank. So these were the criteria that had to be followed for the small finance bank to transition into the universal bank. Now the AU Small Finance Bank has got the permission to transition into the universal bank. Now coming to the next news article, that is regarding the standardization of procedure for settlement of claims in respect of deposit account. First of all, the previous news article, any confusion in that? No, I have told you now that you can decide your rule. You can decide your table tenure, 91 days, 182 days, 364 days. It is your preference. I was just giving an example. Okay. Clear, Marcus? Okay. So next is, see, under the provisions of Banking Regulation Act 1949, nomination facility. Basically, let's say I have a bank account in XYZ bank and I have nominated my mother. Okay. That in case something happens to me, the money from my deposit accounts will go to my mother, or from my safe lockers, the money will go to my mother. This is the basic idea. So under the provisions of Banking Regulation Act 1949, the nomination facility is available in respect of deposit accounts, articles kept in the safe custody or safe deposit lockers. So nomination is allowed for the deposit accounts, for the safe lockers and such. Okay. Now what happens, this is intended to facilitate expeditious settlement of claims. So what happens that, let's say there is ABC person that has an account in the Punjab National Bank, and this person has nominated her brother or mother as the nominee. So now if the ABC person dies, in this case the brother or the mother, whoever is the nominee, that is let's say mother, can go to the bank to claim the money from the deposit account, from the safe lockers and such. So nomination is basically, this is intended to facilitate the expeditious fast settlement of claims or return of articles or release of content of safe deposit locker upon death of a customer, and to minimize hardship caused to a family member. So to minimize the hardship caused to the family members and to release the money of the customer, so nomination facility is provided. Now what is happening that the different banks have different processes to follow when they are providing the money to the nominee. So some banks ask for different kind of documents, like provide your Aadhaar card, provide your identification proof that you are actually the person that you are specifying. Okay, so different banks have different rules and regulations that they are following when they are giving the money back to the deceased, to the nominee of the deceased person. Okay, so the existing instruction require banks to adopt a simplified procedure to facilitate faster and hassle-free settlement of claims made by survivors or nominees or legal heirs. The procedures vary across banks. So it is said that the banks can follow the simplified procedure that they want to follow. So the different banks are following different rules and regulations. So different banks ask for different documents. In some banks the process might be faster, in some banks it might take a lot of time. Some banks might ask for a lot of documents like Aadhaar card, PAN card, XYZ, like your connection with the birth certificate of the deceased person and such and such. So various banks, they have different criterias for the settlement. Okay, now with a view to enhance the customer service standards and to have a standard basis that which document should be asked from the nominee or how the process should follow for the settlement of the money in the deposit account and such. So to enhance the customer service standards, it has been decided to streamline the procedures and standardize the documentation to be submitted by to the banks. So basically it has been said that now the RBI will notify the guidelines or the rules and regulations that has to be followed for the settlement. Okay, now it has been said that what documents the customer has to provide and how fast the process will have to finish, within how many days the process has to finish. So these all guidelines will be decided by the Reserve Bank of India. So basically before, different banks had different rules and regulations in regards to settlement of the deposit account and the safe lockers that the money had to be provided to the nominee. So different banks were following different rules and regulations that were becoming more complex to understand for the consumers, even though the banks were trying their best to have a hassle-free and easier process for settlement, but still the banks were having different processes that were harder to understand. So now the RBI has said that to meet the good customer service standards, now the RBI will decide the settlement process, that what documents the customers will have to provide, how fast the settlement will have to happen, within how many days the settlement will have to finish. So all these regulations will not be decided by bank now, these will be decided by the Reserve Bank of India, the whole process for the settlement. Now RBI said that RBI will be releasing the draft circular. Now this was notified in the Statement on Development and Regulatory Policy document that RBI will release the draft circular in regards to the procedure that the RBI is going to notify. So draft circular has already been released, but as your notification is not released for RBI Grade B examination and such, so we will wait for the final guidelines, and the final guidelines we are going to understand. Okay, so this is only the draft. So once the final guidelines come out, then we will discuss the final guidelines for your settlement of claims in respect of the deposit accounts or safe lockers. So basically for now, just remember this, that this is the kind of draft circular that the RBI has released. Now the RBI is going to provide a standardized procedure for settlement of claims in respect to the deposit account of the deceased customers of the banks and such. Okay, so the final guidelines will be released soon. Now coming to the last news article that we have to discuss in today's session, that is international trade settlement in Indian rupee, revised procedure for opening of special rupee Waso account. Any confusion in the previous news article? Anyone? Okay, so Reserve Bank of India has put in place an additional arrangement for invoicing, payment and settlement of exports. So previously, like the Reserve Bank of India had released the announcement, or the RBI released a notification regarding the special rupee Waso account that we have already discussed. So basically, what is special rupee Waso account? So it was said that we want that the trade should happen and the trade settlement should happen in the Indian rupees or the local currencies. Okay, so India wants that the trade settlement should happen in Indian rupees. So it was said by the Reserve Bank of India that there is a special rupee Waso account. So basically the correspondent banks or the foreign banks, they can request the Indian bank to open a special rupee Waso account for this foreign bank or for the customer of the foreign bank. Okay, so basically for the correspondent bank, the Indian bank is opening a special rupee Waso account. Okay, that means this is the account for the correspondent bank opened by the Indian bank. Now let's say that in this is the country Sri Lanka. Okay, so Sri Lankan correspondent bank or the Russian correspondent bank or the bank in Russia has opened a special rupee Waso account with the Indian bank. Now the exporters of Russia or Sri Lanka, let's say the exporters of Russia have exported their product to India. Okay, the Russian exporters, they have exported oil or weaponry to India. Now the Indian importers, they have to pay. Now the Indian importers, they are paying in rupees in this special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank of Russia. So that means we have paid. Before we were paying in dollars, and these dollars were going to Sri Lanka or Russia, and they had to convert the dollars into their own currency, let's say ruble, and then they were using it. Okay, now it has been said, and this was the idea. So now it is said that the Indian importers, they will pay in rupees, and this rupees will go to the special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank. Okay, now when the Russia is importing from India, let's say Russia is importing clothes from India. Now when the Russia is importing and the Indian exporters are exporting, so the Russian importers will pay in rupees through their special rupee Waso account. So this is the idea of the special rupee Waso account. So special rupee Waso account, this is the account that is maintained by the the account of the correspondent bank maintained in the Indian bank. Okay, the Indian importers that are importing the product from some other country, let's say from Russia or from Sri Lanka, so they are paying the money. The Indian importers are paying the rupees rather than dollars, rather than any other currency. The Indian importers are paying the rupees, and that rupees is going in the special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank of a particular country. Okay, now let's say this country has to pay, or the importers of this country has to pay for the import that has happened from India. So Indian exporters have exported and the payment has to happen. So payment can happen through this account only, through this special rupee Waso account in rupees only. Okay, and let's say there is some additional rupees for the imports. The payment is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, for the imports the payment is 1 lakh rupees, but for the export the payment is 80,000 rupees. So the 20,000 rupees that is left in the special rupee Waso account, that can be invested. This 20,000 rupees can be invested in India. Okay, so if for the import we are giving 1 lakh rupees, but for the exports we are only getting 80,000 rupees. So 20,000 rupees that is additionally left in this special rupee Waso account, that can be invested in India by the particular country. Is this clear? Special rupee Waso account. Any confusion in this? So Reserve Bank of India has put in place an additional arrangement for invoicing, payment and settlement of exports and imports in the INR. Under this arrangement, authorized dealer banks, that is usually the banks that are authorized to deal in the foreign currency. So authorized dealer banks are permitted to open the special rupee Waso accounts of correspondent banks. Now this is a special rupee Waso account. Special rupee Waso account means this is the Waso account, this is the account of the correspondent bank opened in the Indian bank for the trade purpose, for the trade in rupees. Okay, for the trade settlement in rupees. Okay, with the prior approval of the Reserve Bank for settling cross-border trade transactions. So this is the special rupee Waso account that is for the trade transactions, for the trade settlement. Okay, so let's see this, you will have the better understanding. So authorized dealer bank in India may open special rupee Waso account of correspondent banks. So the Indian bank can open special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank. Okay, this is the account of the correspondent bank opened in the Indian bank. Now here the Indian importers that are importing from Russia, let's say, they will provide the money in the special rupee Waso account in rupees. So Indian importers undertaking imports through this mechanism shall make payment in INR, which shall be credited or gone to the special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank, okay, of the partner country against the invoices of the supply of goods and services. So Indian importers, when they get the supply, Indian importers, they are getting the oil, let's say, so they are making the payments in the Indian rupees to the special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank of the partner country. Now, Indian exporters undertaking the exports or doing the exports to the partner country will get the payment from the special rupee Waso account in rupees. So, export proceeds in INR will be given from the balance in the special rupee Waso account. Okay, or whatever money is left in the special rupee Waso account, it can be invested in India in different areas. Okay. No, this is special rupee Waso account, only Waso account. So the partner countries or the correspondent bank of the partner countries, they are opening their special rupee Waso account with Indian banks as the settlement or transaction is happening in INR. Got it? No, in rupees only. See, basically the correspondent bank, that is of the partner country, let's say it is Russia, it has opened special rupee Waso account in with the Indian bank. So Indian bank is maintaining the special rupee Waso account of the correspondent bank of the partner country. So the imports that we are doing, we are paying in rupees in the special rupee Waso account. Let's say we have paid 1 lakh rupees. Now for the export that we are doing, we are getting the money from this special rupee Waso account. So let's say we are getting 80,000 rupees. So whatever money is left, that is 20,000 rupees is still left in the special rupee Waso account that can be invested in India. Now is it clear? Okay, so now what has been said? So before it was said that if, so basically it was said that if the authorized dealer bank in India that are authorized to provide foreign currency, so authorized dealer banks are permitted to open the special rupee Waso account of correspondent banks with the prior approval of the Reserve Bank of India. That means the special rupee Waso account can only be opened with the prior approval from the Reserve Bank of India. Now the RBI has said that to make the process faster, the RBI approval will not be required. So based on review of the procedure involved in opening the SRVA, that is special rupee Waso account. So before, what used to happen, that the correspondent bank used to request to open the special rupee Waso account. The authorized dealer bank, that is the Indian bank, used to ask the Reserve Bank of India for permission. After a few days, RBI gave the permission to the authorized dealer bank to open the special rupee Waso account, then the account used to open. So this was a lengthier process. So now the RBI has said that based on the review that has happened on the procedure involved in opening the special rupee Waso account, it has been decided to do away with the need for seeking RBI approval for opening of SRVA. That means now there is no requirement to take the RBI approval to open the special rupee Waso account. There is no requirement to seek RBI approval for opening the SRVA. Authorized dealer banks can now open the SRVAs of the correspondent banks without referring to the Reserve Bank of India, without taking permission from the Reserve Bank of India. So the above change is in procedure will considerably quicken the process of opening the special rupee Waso account by the Indian banks. This is the idea. Any confusion, anyone? Now this is the first news article. Sorry, this is the first question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. I will show you other questions also, but any confusion till now? So try to answer this question. This is the first question. Now this is the second question. Before going to third question, let me tell you that there is a perspective 360-degree series that is for your answer writing. Okay, if you want to do the answer writing practice, if you want to know that what kind of questions can come in the examination from the current hot topics, what kind of descriptive questions can come in the examination. So in the perspective 360-degree series that happens on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. the answer writing practice happens from the current hot topics. The descriptive question is provided on which the answer is also discussed, that what you should write in intro, what you should write in body, what you should write in the conclusion and such. The important points are discussed, as well as homework question is given, that is also evaluated if you give the answer in the comment section. So the homework question is also evaluated if you answer in the comment section within 48 hours. Okay, so this is a very good series, a very good initiative for your answer writing practice. Now you have to answer this question. You have to tell which of the statement is or are incorrect. Okay, so this is the second question. Now the third question is in regards to that, what is the key change that has been introduced under the process of SRVA that you have to tell. Okay, so this is the third question. So this is it for today. Thank you very much for joining the session. In the Saturday session, we are going to discuss the new directions that the RBI has released, that is in regards to non-fund based credit facilities. Okay, so in the Saturday session, we will discuss the new directions in regards to non-fund based credit facilities. Now these directions are also important, so that we are going to discuss in the Saturday session. Okay then everyone, thank you for joining the session, and tomorrow is Independence Day, so do watch the parade that happens, and in the TV you can watch it, right? So enjoy your day as well as keep preparing hard. So thank you everyone, thank you for joining. Happy Independence Day to everyone.